It had been a long time since I had received any news from Richard. One day, just as I was drifting into sleep, I suddenly saw beside my bed a Chinese man dressed in a dark blue long robe standing there, his arms crossed in front of his chest. He bowed his head before me. I could see every wrinkle on his face and every line of his body. I knew who he was and also understood what this meant. This is an excerpt from the autobiography Memories, Dreams, Reflections by Carl Jung, the father of Chinese psychology. In fact, this person was not Chinese, but a German named Richard Wilhelm, the first scholar to research China at the University of Frankfurt, Germany. Carl Jung, along with this scholar, had been old friends for over 20 years. Just a few weeks after Jung had this dream, Mr. Wilhelm passed away. While alive, both Jung and Wilhelm shared a common trait, a passion for studying Zen. According to Carl Jung, a person who wants to heal through meditation or reach a certain state of being must first understand the profound core meaning behind it. After years of struggling to understand the method, even having encountered the essence of Chinese teachings, but still unable to find the right direction, his reunion with an old friend who brought back an ancient meditation practice manual from China fascinated Carl Jung. So, what is the deep meaning of this method? What is the ultimate goal of meditation? Can one truly find what they seek through this practice? Today, let's talk about meditation. Let's go back to the year 1900. At the age of 27, Wilhelm first set foot on Chinese soil and was immediately captivated by the culture. Once there, he stayed for 21 years to explore and immerse himself in authentic Taoist traditions. He traveled to Mount Lao and actually met a Taoist priest, then practiced the Longmen Quanzhen sect's methods. Furthermore, he obtained a Taoist manual. This was not some fake martial arts manual from the world of martial arts fiction, but it is said to be a text passed down orally by the Taoist immortals, including Lao Dongtan, and recorded by Wang Chongyang, the founder of the Quanzhen school during the Song dynasty. After returning to Germany, he quickly translated this Taoist classic and titled it The Secret of the Yellow Flower, the Book of Life of China. He was so overjoyed that he immediately shared the translation with his good friend, Carl Jung. Carl Jung was so excited that he was left speechless. It truly felt like seeing the sun through a break in the clouds. Upon receiving the translated copy, Carl Jung immediately helped publish the book. It became the most famous Taoist work in the West at the beginning of the 20th century and was translated into many different languages. The Chinese title of the book is Thayat Kim Hoa Ton Chi, and the English title is The Secrets of the Golden Flower. Why did this book have such a powerful influence? It was because at that time, Carl Jung was developing his own psychological theory, which in translation is called the transformation of the self and active processing theory. It might sound confusing, but simply explained, it is about using the full power of imagination to perceive the deepest thoughts within one's soul and then recount them. It is as simple as that. It may sound quite complicated, right? Carl Jung's purpose in developing this theory was to apply it to psychotherapy. Science believes that in the human subconscious, many thoughts and impressions lie hidden. These things, although not immediately brought to consciousness, are actually deeply embedded in each person's subconscious and will continue to influence our behavior later on. Many of our future decisions are unknowingly based on these subconscious conceptual foundations. Before encountering The Secret of the Yellow Flower, Chinese Book of Life, Carl Jung had already come into contact with the I Ching. However, he found that the I Ching did not quite align with his path and could not help him expand his imagination. The book, The Secrets of the Golden Flower, led him to find direction because the meditation method in it fascinated him. He believed that if people could calm down while sitting in meditation, their true nature would be the essence of their consciousness. Humans could perceive their subconscious and access the hidden part of their consciousness. Because of this, he began experimenting with using meditation methods to treat psychological issues in patients. In fact, the method that Carl Jung used is based on practices found in Buddhism and Taoism. In Taoism, this method is called Da Zuo, or Ne Guan, sitting meditation or inner observation, while in Buddhism, it is referred to as meditation, or Zen meditation. The difference lies in their application. Rather than using this method to explore the subconscious mind, in Buddhism, it is used as a practice for spiritual cultivation. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting adventures. The Taoist method of Da Zuo, sitting meditation, is as follows. The legs are crossed in a sitting position, with the hands stacked on top of each other. One thumb presses into the palm of the opposite hand, which is the position of the Lao Gong acupoint. The hands are placed in front of the lower abdomen, about 3 inches, roughly 10 centimeters, below the navel, which is the location of the Dantian energy center. Naturally, you remain still, clearing your mind of thoughts. The eyes focus on the tip of the nose on the mouth, and the mouth asks the heart, meaning the posture should be upright, neither leaning back nor bowing forward. The goal is Yixin Bu Luan, single-minded concentration, eliminating distracting thoughts. Of course, different Taoist schools have their own meditation secrets. The outward manifestations are quite similar. You might say it looks simple, but in fact, it is not simple at all. From the outside, it seems like one is sleeping. However, the true purpose of meditation is to clear the energy channels in the body that are invisible to the naked eye, such as the 8 meridians connecting and flowing. When this happens, qi, a type of invisible energy in the body, can circulate freely throughout the body. This can help achieve the effects of longevity and preserved youth. The book, The Secrets of the Golden Flower, that Carl Jung had acquired, is actually a guide to meditation and cultivation. In some Taoist stories, it is said that the time of a cultivator has extended for such a long period that even the breath and heartbeat of the practitioner seem to stop. Afterward, to avoid misunderstandings that the person may be dead and might be buried or cremated, Taoists often choose secluded places to meditate and practice, aiming to clear the flow of qi, achieving immortality. So, why is meditation practiced in Buddhism? It is also to achieve liberation and transcendence from the cycle of reincarnation. Meditation is a necessary path to reach the state of nirvana and ultimate bliss. After Sakyamuni Buddha achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, the teachings he shared can be summarized into the 3 words: precepts, meditation, wisdom. Precepts refer to eliminating desires, requiring disciples to live a life based on strict rules of celibacy. Meditation is the core practice that we need to focus on today. Wisdom refers to the result of great wisdom, transcending birth and death. Some of you may wonder, if one must live in celibacy, wouldn't life lose all meaning and joy? In reality, the process of meditation itself already brings joy. In Buddhism, this is known as meditative joy, Tien Duyet, or the bliss of samadhi, Tam Muoi Lak. It is described in the Agama Sutras, one of the scriptures believed to most authentically reflect the teachings of the Buddha during his lifetime. It describes the experience of meditative concentration as follows. In every place there is moisture and nourishment. In every place there is joy. The body is filled with calm. There is no part that is not at ease. From a literal translation, this means, at any given time, a cultivator can feel joy welling up from within. This subtle and exquisite sensation is as if every cell is being caressed, as if touched by starlight, immersed in a state of comfort and serenity. The experience during meditation is not only subjectively different for each person, but also follows objective standards. That is, depending on one's level and realm of practice, the feeling and depth of meditation will differ. Some Buddhist schools have even developed very detailed classifications of the levels of meditative perception. The founder of the Tiantai school, Master Ji, essentially divided meditative states into three levels, namely worldly meditation, supramundane meditation, and highest supramundane meditation. A more commonly known term is the threefold turning of the 8 concentrations. In fact, all of these still fall within the category of what is called worldly meditation. The basic idea is quite simple. An easy way to understand it is to think of it as a process of point accumulation and rank upgrading. Just like earning membership cards of different levels allows access to different areas in a building, attaining higher levels of meditation allows one to enter corresponding heavenly realms. In Buddhism, at each meditative level, the practitioner can perceive wondrous phenomena unique to that celestial plane. Cultivators must rely on deep, sustained meditation to ascend step by step through these levels. The 3 realms are desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. Among these, the 6 heavens of the desire realm are the closest to the human world. And the first meditative concentration one must achieve is desire realm concentration. Reaching this stage means that one's thoughts and mind have already separated from worldly states, no longer swayed by the noise of society, no longer blindly following the crowd. Once a practitioner reaches inner tranquility, they step past the first threshold toward the 26 celestial heavens of the desire realm, the realm closest to humans. If during meditation one suddenly feels the body vanish, leaving only clear awareness, it marks a breakthrough, an entry into the next stage of spiritual ascent. Within the desire realm, meditators begin to feel bliss similar to the joy experienced by heavenly beings. As their practice deepens, they ascend into the 18 heavens of the form realm, with the level of their consciousness determining which realm they enter. The first dhyana heaven includes Brahma heaven, heaven of Brahma's retinue, and Great Brahma heaven. The second dhyana heaven includes heaven of lesser radiance, heaven of infinite radiance, and heaven of radiant light. The third dhyana heaven includes heaven of lesser purity, heaven of boundless purity, and heaven of pervasive purity. Each level represents a more refined state of joy and awareness, drawing the practitioner step by step closer to transcending the 3 realms and ultimately reaching nirvana. At this stage, the practitioner can feel a profound and wondrous joy that is almost impossible to put into words. This state is one level beyond the purity of the desire realm, and from here, the practitioner continues to ascend step by step, eventually transcending the 3 realms and reaching the blissful state of nirvana. However, for ordinary people, these experiences are simply far too distant from their current perception. It's like trying to describe the speed of a jet to someone who has only ever ridden a bicycle. The difference is just too vast. For most people, the very first step is to keep the mind from being disturbed. Once seated in meditation, one must maintain the correct posture, and the mind must begin by suppressing the stream of chaotic thoughts that rush like flowing water. Only then can we begin to talk about cultivation. This is just the preparation phase. often accompanied by discomfort, yet it holds a certain subtle wonder within. Meditation is a subtle and profound experience, and only those who have truly entered it can understand it. If you've never tasted candy, then no matter how vividly someone describes it, you won't truly know what sweet is. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting adventures. However, through modern scientific experiments and empirical data, clear differences have been observed between those in deep meditation and ordinary individuals. In the 1980s, Dr. Herbert Benson, a cardiologist from Harvard Medical School, conducted a study related to meditation. Dr. Benson traveled deep into the remote Himalayan mountains in northern India, where he examined the physiological changes of hundreds of monks during meditation. He discovered that after entering deep meditative states, these monks could control the amount of oxygen they inhaled, regulate their body temperature, and even influence their brain waves, abilities that are considered impossible for normal people. This amazed him greatly. He later wrote a book called The Relaxation Response and developed his own method of relaxation meditation. In 2013, Professor Maria Kozhevnikov, a neuroscientist at the National University of Singapore, saw Benson's experimental results, and although she remained somewhat skeptical, she decided to conduct her own study on senior Tibetan Buddhist nuns. Eventually, she was able to confirm most of Benson's findings and even took the research a step further. By using more advanced measurement devices, she discovered that these meditators could control their body temperature, with some nuns' temperatures rising to levels similar to a fever. What does this mean? It suggests that these monastics have the ability to control a form of internal energy that affects body temperature, something modern science still cannot fully explain. British parapsychologist Serena Roney-Dougal also conducted a long-term experiment. Her subjects were Tibetan monks of varying ages and levels of meditation experience. An object was hidden inside a sealed, opaque container, and the monks were asked to enter deep meditative states to identify the hidden item. The results showed that those who had practiced meditation for longer periods tended to have a higher accuracy rate. This type of extraordinary ability is now often referred to as meditative clairvoyance or remote viewing through intuitive perception. These research findings were like a bombshell in the field of psychology. In the realm of modern academia, psychology is considered a relatively rigid and theory-heavy discipline, often leaning toward philosophy and traditional metaphysics. Thus, breaking through conventional thinking was relatively easier, which led many psychologists and psychiatrists to begin exploring meditation as a tool for treating mental disorders. In fact, Carl Jung, the renowned figure in psychology mentioned earlier, was a pioneer in applying meditation to the treatment of mental illnesses. His pioneering efforts actually went further than many psychologists who came after him, because he believed that only when a patient truly understands the spiritual essence behind meditative practice, that is, only after grasping the philosophy of cultivation, can true healing take place. Patrick Jones, a neuroscientist, strongly agreed with Jung's viewpoint. In 2019, he published an article in the neuroscience journal Friends in Psychology, stating that psychology was born from Buddhism, filled with powerful positive energy, and carries profound significance for the human subconscious. He advocated for practicing meditation as a way to absorb universal light energy to strengthen the subconscious. Furthermore, he believed that if insights from meditative traditions in Hinduism or Buddhism could be drawn upon, they could even help develop heroic consciousness in individuals. That's why the title of Castro's article was, "Can Meditation Create Superheroes?" It already carries a touch of comic book flair. Could he really be suggesting that superpowers might be developed through meditation, like some sort of spiritual mutation in America? So now, Captain America wouldn't be a result of experimental drugs and gene modification, but instead, a product of deep meditation. While that may sound far-fetched and hard to believe, think about it. The supernatural powers mentioned in Buddhism, such as clairaudience, clairvoyance, telepathy, or even indestructible resilience, aren't they basically the same extraordinary abilities we only see in science fiction heroes? Some even say that the inspiration behind these superhero stories may have come from such ancient practices. What about you? Do you believe that meditation could really be that miraculous? Have you ever tried any form of meditation yourself? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below the video. And that's it for today's discussion. If you found this video useful, don't forget to share it with a friend. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.